Hello everyone, my name is Max. I'm a technical lead at the ILF, and today we're going to be talking about some of the use cases for open payments. Short recap, open payments is an open API standard that can be implemented by account servicing entities such as digital wallets, banks, financial institutions. And if open payments is implemented by an ASC, it acts as an entryway for third parties to orchestrate payments for accounts at those institutions. It is decentralized, interoperable, so there's no central authority running open payments. Any AC can run it as long as they're regulated, and there's no tie to some specific currency or geographical region of the world. Some of the components that make up open payments include wallet addresses. So these are standardized identifiers like an email address for being able to receive payments and to share with platforms and peers you may want to send funds to. Incoming payments represent money coming into your account. Outgoing payments represent how much essentially pulling money out of your account or spending the money. Quotes represent how much it will cost to deliver a certain amount of money, including the foreign exchange if you're sending between an incoming payment of one currency and an outgoing payment in another. And finally, we have grants, and grants essentially specify which client, for example, or platform or app, is able to perform which actions on your account. So they codify what access to what resources each client has. More information about grants. So, for example, a client can, in a grant, it will say how much a client can, which resource a client can view, which resource a client can create. And in particular, when it comes to outgoing payment grants, it will actually encode how much money can be taken out of your account or spent up to a certain limit. So for example, if I'm making a payment online, a client would ask, can I have can I spend up to $10 from your account? And this can support any number of outgoing payments, whether that's one payment for $10 or it's one 10 outgoing payments for $1. So these are the limits that are specified within the outgoing payment grant. And it can be single use or recurring. So for example, maybe I want to make one-time purchase on a website and I will approve and the client will spend the grant once to make that payment. Or maybe I'm allowing a client to have a recurring grant such that they can be able to spend funds out of my account in a monthly subscription, for example. And this interval period can be very fine grained from month to year or as low as a minute, second. So it's quite very fine grained. So some of the use cases that we have for open payments, I'm going to talk about here. And again, this is not exhaustive, but just as an example of what kind of things you can build with open payments. So for example, I as a developer can build a cross-border remittance platform. So for example, to facilitate peer-to-peer payments between users in different parts of the world, I can have a platform that, as the open payments client, I can ask users who want to send money how much money they want to pay to a recipient different part of the world. Maybe that's one time, or maybe it's monthly payment that they want to make. So it's as a user of a remittance platform, I can say that I want to, for example, spend $100 every month to send money to my family and friends around the world. So this remittance platform would be orchestrating the outgoing payment on the sender's account and the incoming payments for the receiver's account. You can have donation platforms. So for example, a user can give, if I'm going to a donation page, the donation platform can again request money from a sender, contributing to one large contribution pool that several senders, let's say, or users of the donation platform make into the donation campaign that has a corresponding incoming payment for it. So that's another use case that's quite easy to facilitate with open payments. Subscriptions. So for example, we can have a platform such as that has educational content, videos, music streaming, and this platform can essentially facilitate payments from the people who are interacting with that content to the people who have published the content. So if I as the user go onto a the subscription platform that's open payments enabled, I can be spending, let's say, even as granular as every video or every stream. I can be streaming funds from my account into the creator of or artist of the said content. So, and the subscription platform can specify and facilitate interaction between the, let's say, the owner of the content and the consumer of the content. So again, the with with how grants work in open payments, it can be as granular as every stream, or as it works as like a regular subscription service where money gets pulled out onto your account every month, for example. And something similar to the streaming, this doesn't apply just to music or some other content, right? This could be related to utility payments. So I there could be a platform that uh, can facilitate can facilitate money being sent from the user of a let's say someone who's subscribed to electricity bill, electricity provider or gas provider, and a platform can facilitate these the same concept of streaming but to utility payments, right? So you can have, instead of getting a bill at the end of the month, a platform can even charge maybe per hour on the electricity usage at a user. So that is quite also quite possible with open payments. Paywalls. So if I'm interacting with at the website, it would be quite easy for the website, let's say, developer to log content until a certain payment has been made. So a website can facilitate unlocking certain content on a website. Again, it could be as granular as one page, one payment for one page, or as you're interacting with the content, you're reading a certain article, you can be facilitating the let's say the streaming of payments as you scroll even. So again, thinking from large single payment to yeah maybe small number of payments as you're browsing. Paid APIs is another quite nice use case with open payments. So if I'm as the as an owner of an API, I can I can monetize this and put open payments in front of it, such that if a user wants to use my API, they would have to they would provide their, let's say, wallet address, and then I, as the API owner, would make outgoing payments on the user account to provide them access to the content behind the API. So monetizing APIs is another use case that fits in very well with open payments. And I think an important part of brainstorming and thinking what can be done with open payments, a lot of it uh, is really important with local context. So a lot of amazing financial products and tools have come out of a deep understanding of what challenges people face in specific content. So how can we leverage this deep understanding with open payments? So for example, how can we help people save? So in a lot of places there are different ways people save. For example, every month everybody contributes to a savings pool, and then one time when a person needs to withdraw the funds to make a big purchase, educational tools, or maybe they're saving up for some medicine, right? You can have then they will take that money and use it. So as a, let's say, collective saving, and maybe that's something that can be done with in a digital way with open payments. How do people spend? So how do people need to get goods in a certain place of the world? Maybe there's different challenges that comes along with that. How can we help and maybe digitalize some of those processes to make it easier for people to access goods and spend? How do people receive credit? So how do small businesses, or well, any size businesses, receive funds to, let's say, maintain their business, expand it, um, there's a lot of microfinancing, lending. What are some of those opportunities and challenges that people have when running certain business in certain contexts? And in general, what are some of the opportunities in your life as a developer or let's say open payments platform developer to make day-to-day management of finances easier in general? So there's a lot of use cases and that can only be really understood by the people in particular communities. From going from more, let's say, platform and those kind of ideas, it would be a good way to discuss some of the technical ideas that open payments facilitates. So when we're talking about single peer-to-peer or maybe e-commerce website setup, how does this look like? So in open payments, right, you would have an incoming payment for a single receiver and then a single sender with an outgoing payment, and then money would be spent from outgoing payment to the income. So this is just a one-to-one type of situation, right? And this is the simplest example in open payments. But you can have something like this as well, right? So for example, say if I have a e-commerce platform that is a bit more that wants to pay out merchant and also itself at the same time, the platform can for example take a single payment and split it up into, let's say, multiple discrete incoming payments, such that as the user or sender of the funds, I can pay directly to the merchant and directly to the platform in one payment, and this can be quite easily split up using open payments. You can have open incoming payments aren't limited to just a single outgoing payment. So for example, if we're talking about a donation campaign, right, you can have set up a incoming payment once, and then you have a single user send multiple outgoing payments into it, maybe on a recurring basis, or you can have multiple senders paying into the same incoming payment, and that's also possible. So this is more of a pooling of funds and coding that with relating that to an incoming payment. So this also type of setup is possible in open payment. So these are some of the technical ideas that are compatible with open payments and have a lot of interesting use cases with it. That's a quick overview of some of the use cases in general. I hope this was helpful. Thank you.